Hello creative minds, welcome to the sewing part of this tutorial. In the first one we drafted this pattern, and here we are going to be sewing all our pieces together. Don't forget to subscribe if you are yet to do that. Subscription is actually free. Okay, without further ado, let's get right into the sewing. So first off, place your back pattern together, and we're going to be joining the waistline together. So after that, ensure that you pin down, like put it together just as seen, and I'm going to be marking where my zipper is going to stop, apparently 22 inches. So just go ahead and mark it. Then from that point, I'm going to be measuring from the down part where I want my slit to start from. Then I'm going to be joining this 2 points together with the 1 inch that allowance that I put there. Okay, after doing that, I've also gone ahead to insert my zipper. So next we're going to be imputing our facing just like you see me do. Go ahead and pin down. I'm going to be sewing only the neck parts of this. I won't be sewing the shoulders for now. Okay, so just go ahead and pin down and sew straight just as I did, and down as well to close the zip, and turn it with a hemming gum. So next I'm going to be sewing for our front pattern. We're going to be starting our interfacing. Okay, so just go ahead and sew through. So after doing that, I've gone ahead to iron, imputing my hemming gum to give it a neat look. Okay, so just go ahead and do that and notch all the sides. So I'm going to be going ahead to notch the midpoint, and I'm going to be bringing my number 2 for the front, also notching the midpoint, and I'm going to be joining them together. So now we're going to be creating our design at the front. So just go ahead and measure and draw a straight line just like you see me do from the neck part to the waist. Okay, then I'm going to be bringing, you can use a bias for this part. Okay, so I'm going to fold it just like I'm doing, because I'm going to be inserting an elastic. Okay, so my elastic is just going to be from my neck measurement to my waist point. Whatever I have there, I'll divide it by 2. For instance, if the length of my bias that I'm inserting is 10 inches, okay, my elastic is going to be 5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run straight stitch through. So after running straight stitch at the other side, I did not run at the top part yet because I want to do that after inserting my elastic. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the elastic just as I'm doing, and after doing that, I'm now going to top stitch at the top part and close it up, and also do that at the down part as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and insert my elastic all the way through just as seen. Okay, like I said, you can use a bias for this point part. Okay, if you don't have a fabric to use. Okay, so just go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and sew the down part as well and close it up. So I'm also going to be measuring a 5 by 3 inches material, okay, to be able to fix the design at the front. After cutting it out, I'm going to be sewing it straight, then I'm going to be making a circle from it. Okay, so I'm going to go and sew it straight down first, just like that, and I'll close it up and sew it at that point as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like by the time I was joint sewing. So I'm going to open it up just as seen. Okay, by the time I opened it up, it was approximately 1.7 inches. Okay, so I'm going to be passing my neck, I'm going to be passing the rope-like design just as seen. Okay, so just pass yours. So next we are going to go and cut out for our rope-like design. I'm going to be measuring 1 inches, and I'm going to be cutting as many rope as possible, okay, for our design, our crisscross design. Okay, so just go ahead and cut out. After cutting out, I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to be sewing with 1/4 inch, then I'll be turning it through, then cutting out. Okay, so just go ahead and cut out. Okay, by the time I was done, this how many I was actually cut out more later on. I'm going to go ahead and join it and cut it out. So I've gone ahead to cut out 7 inches, okay, of this. After joining, I also ironed it. So now we're going to go ahead and cut out our number 3. Okay, so my number 3 is 5 inches. I'm now going to be adding 1 inches at the top part. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting this out on a another folded paper. I'm supposed to be cutting it on fold, but along the line it was a mistake on my part. I cut out the other side. Okay, so I'm going to also go ahead and recut it later on, but just go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and add the 1 inches that I included. Remember, our number 3 is a total of 5 inches, but I'm going to be adding 1 inches at the top for my stitching. Okay, so just go ahead and cut this number 3 out on fold. Like I said, it's supposed to be cut on fold. So yes, we are only adding the allowance at the top, not at the side. Okay, at the top and not at the side. I'm going to go ahead and recut it again after cutting it, because I wasn't supposed to cut the folded part, but I did. So I will go ahead and cut out later on another paper. Okay, so here I've gone ahead to trace out again on another fabric. Okay, so this is now our new number 3. So now I'm going to be measuring the 1 inches allowance that I left at the top to join our crisscross design to our dress. I'm also going to be marking the midpoint of this. Why I'm marking the midpoint is because I want my crisscross to join at a particular point by the time I'm fixing it. Okay, I don't want it to be zigzag. I want everything to be straight. So I'm first of all going to be marking my 1 inch and I'm going to be ruling a line. Okay, this is going to guide me when I am imputing the crisscross design, okay, and how to fix it. Just follow me and you will understand what I'm doing later on. Okay, this just to give our crisscross design a neat look. Okay, so from there I'm also going to be getting the midpoint, just like I said earlier. This midpoint is where our crisscross design is going to be joining together. So go ahead and rule. So after then, next I'm going to be measuring what I have in total. So what I had in total was 22 inches thereabout. So I decided to just mark 1 inches, okay, on all sides. So this 1 inches will be the difference from one crisscross design to another crisscross design. Okay, so I'm going to be marking this 1 inches at this top part and also be marking it at the down part as well. Okay, so I was done marking the 1 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and start inserting my rope like design. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to be putting it, I'll fix one at one rope like design on the starting point. The next one will be on the other 1 inches. So like I said, the difference will only be 1 inches and you can see where it's going to meet. So at that center where I drew, that was the reason why I drew the center point, because I want, yes, the design to meet at that point. You can see what I'm doing. I hope you understand. I'm also going to be pinning it at the down part as well. I'm going to be doing this for the full pattern. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing and I know you're going to understand. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing and pin down. Please don't rush this part because this part wasn't so easy. This part is something you sit, play your favorite song and hold a cold drink by the side while doing this. Okay, so just look at what I'm doing. The next one, I imputed it in the other 1 inch that I marked, and I also pin it. Then I imputed the other one in 1 inches and also pin it. I'm now going to insert another crisscross, just like I did the first one at that midpoint. You can see that the first crisscross and the second crisscross are meeting at that center point that I marked. That is the center line. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this. Okay, like I said, take your time, because this part I had to sit down and finish it up. Okay, it's not something you stand and do, it's something you just sit down and engage yourself so you don't make any mistake. Okay, so just go ahead and do what I'm doing. All right. So I'm just gonna keep doing this all the way to the end. Then I'll come back and show you by the time I was done, because this part I needed to actually sit down and concentrate and do it properly. Okay, so also do that and finish yours. Ensure that it's neatly placed. Then I'll come back and show you the next step. At this point, don't forget to click on the subscription button so you'll be notified anytime I post any new tutorial. Okay, so this was me by the time I was done placing it all the way through the pattern paper. So now we're going to be placing it on our number 1 and number 2, number 2 and number 4, just like you see me do. Ensure that you've placed your fabric the wrong side, just like I've done. Then you bring the cutwork design and you pin it down, just like you're seeing me do. Pin it down from the 1 inches. Okay, from that 1 inches is what we are going to be using to join the 1/2 inches allowance that we left on our number 2. Also do that for the number 4 front pattern. Okay, place it all the way straight down. Okay, I'm just going to be doing a rough placing so that you can understand what I mean. Okay, so just do a rough placing, just like I'm doing. Pin it properly and we'll go to the sewing machine and we'll sew. Please ensure that you do not rush this part, because this part is extremely technical, especially when you are sewing on your machine. Take your time. Okay, this is what it will look like when we are done sewing on our machine. So I also forgot to tell you that for me to get in its finishing at the end, I'm going to be sewing along with a piece of fabric. Okay, you can use a bias for this part, so that by the time I'm done sewing and I trim off the cut work, I will turn this over to close up the rough edges. Okay, you will understand later on. So I'm going to be taking out 1 inch. Okay, that 1 inch, after the 1 inch is where I'm going to start imputing the cut, the rope like design. Okay, so ensure that you're placing it properly. Okay, I needed to show you this part on the machine so that when you're sewing yours you will understand what I mean. Please don't rush. You can see the way I'm taking my time to ensure that everything is being placed properly, and I'm holding it down as I'm taking out my pins and I'm taking my time to sew it. Okay, This part, you need to play your favorite song. Take a drink if possible, put a drink by your side and be sipping and also be swaying while doing it, because this, you guys, I won't even lie, it took my time, but it was an interesting process doing it. Okay, so just go ahead and sew step by step. Do not rush, because if you rush this part, you might not get a perfect stitch by the time you are done. So just go ahead and sew this part carefully. So at the point, I was also using my tape to ensure that it's 1 inch apart, so it doesn't move from the 1 inch or it doesn't become lesser. Like I said, take your time. This part is going to need a lot of it, so take your time for you to be able to get a neat outcome and a happy outcome, because it won't be nice when you go over it again. So this was me by the time I was done. So we're going to be taking out our pattern paper, and you can see how beautiful it's already coming out. Okay, so at this point, if you use the bias is going to be the way my piece of fabric is. So now I'm going to be trimming off the rough edges. So go ahead and trim off the rough edges to enable us to close up. So I was done trimming off the rough edges. So now I'm going to be placing my hemming gum, then I'm going to be folding my piece of fabric like so. Okay, this is what it looked like by the time I was done. You can see how neat it's looking. And there's the front. You can see how beautiful our cut work design has come out. So now we'll go over to joining the shoulder. So place your front shoulder inside the back shoulder like so and close it up. Okay, do this on the wrong side, please. So when I was done joining the shoulder, next I'm going to be imputing. You can see how neat and beautiful it's looking. So next I'm going to be inserting my sleeve. Okay, ensure that you place your dress this way. The waist points should be meeting each other. Then you place your sleeve. Measure your sleeve to ensure that it goes properly. Okay, so that way, if it doesn't, you can as well trim off any excess before fixing it. Okay, so place it this way and also measure before going to your sewing machine and joining. Ensure you also pin down, because I'm going to be pinning down all the sides. So I'm done joining my sleeve now. You can see how beautiful and neat it has come out. So next I'm going to be imputing my measurements all the way into this dress. Then I'm going to close it up with a hemming gum so it doesn't come out. So I'm going to impute all my measurements and I'm going to be joining this dress. I'm going to be joining my sleeve as well, and also be joining the down part of this dress. Okay, and that will be all for this tutorial. Okay, you already saw the outcome of what it looks like. I'm also going to be joining the down part of this dress and also closing up every rough edge with our hemming gum. Okay, I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe. Like I always say, subscription is free. That will be the end of this tutorial, and I will also be seeing you in my next video. Okay, like I said, don't forget to press by the time you're done. Okay, bye.